you. There we go. So we are now recording. So here we are, November Hydrate Huddle. You guys are amazing. I'm just going to ask a couple questions to get off and see what you guys come up with. So I want you to tell everybody about something that made you laugh this past week. They're going to have to think. Something that made you laugh.
I got it.
All right, Kenny, what you got? He's already laughing.
My 7-year-old daughter. I posted this on Facebook this week because it was just that funny. I'm upstairs in our kitchen with my wife, and my daughter's downstairs going to the bathroom, which she doesn't typically do. Not downstairs. She uses the upstairs one. Downstairs is kind of for me and my son use that one for whatever reason.
Right.
So Kimmy is going potty, and I didn't realize she was going potty. So I'm like, Kimmy, you need to take a shower. And she's like, Dad, I'm going poop. And I'm like, okay, go poop, then take a shower. I don't want to poop in the shower. Kimmy, I didn't say poop in the shower. I said go poop, then shower. Dad, I don't want to poop in the shower. Kimmy, that's not what I'm saying. We're having a conversation from upstairs to downstairs because she can't quite hear me what I'm saying. She's misunderstanding the context. So she finally gets it all done. I'm like, hey, you didn't poop in the shower, did you? No, Dad, I didn't do that.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. 7-year-old.
There's my funny moment of the week.
That is good. Who else? Something that made you laugh.
My nephew was listening to a song talking about facing your giants. And he listens to the song and finally asks, why are they singing a song about facing your giants? That's not what they were saying. They were saying facing your giants. No, they were saying facing your giants. Why?
Oh, my goodness. That's awesome. Oh, what else? This is good. I like laughter.
I have one, but I don't know if I should say it. It might be a little inappropriate.
Do it. We like inappropriate sometimes.
So my dad saw this stuff called liquid. I'm just gonna say the nice version, liquid butt. It's the spray that makes things smell really bad. Like I'm saying, really, really, really bad.
Oh no!
So he bought it for me to play a prank. And he wanted me to do it to the whole staff. And so he's like, but do it to the family first. I was like, all right. So not realizing how bad this stuff is, I'm telling you, this is the worst smelling thing I've ever smelled. And so Joe was sitting in his chair in the living room. Tyler was playing a video game and Grant was in his chair. We're all just having a nice relaxing night. And so I sneak into the living room and I acted like I was lighting a candle on the fireplace. And so I go, and I heard spray. And then I went over to the other side of the room and I coughed. I'm like, and I it got all over my finger. My dog went crazy on me because the smell was so intense. The dog wanted to know what the heck was going on. I'm like, Chloe, get off me. And then literally within probably 10 seconds, my son Tyler says, what smells like butt? Super loud. And then Joe immediately catches wind of the smell and he starts freaking out thinking Chloe crapped in the house. So he's moving chairs, looking everywhere. I got it on video. I'll send it to you, Lisa.
Yes, I need to see it.
I was literally crying, laughing, and Joe's like, did you do something? Did you have a candle that smells funny? I'm like, no, I'm just laughing because Tyler said the room smells like butt. And literally it smelled so bad that I had to shampoo my carpet because I thought that it got into my carpet and the smell was in my nose the whole night. But I laughed so hard that I was crying.
Oh my God.
So if you guys ever want to play a prank on somebody, this stuff is legit. It is hands down the worst smelling stuff I've ever had in my life. And I have it sealed in a Ziploc hidden in the way back of my drawer so that hopefully no one ever finds it. And it's so bad, Lisa, that I don't think I can do it to staff.
Oh, well, at least you know.
Use that on some youth trips. Right.
I can't believe your dad. Well, I can believe your dad bought that.
Oh, my dad is such a prankster.
I know. That's what I said. I'm like, I can see that. That's awesome.
He was crying until like he texted me like 10 times. Did you do it yet? Did you do it yet?
Oh, I love it. All right. What else? Something that made you laugh. Mm-hmm. James. Basically, I'm asking James.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday my wife woke up with a cold, and just because of it, her voice is really kind of deep and raspy. And my 2-year-old goes up to her, and he's like, "Grandma," like, because she sounds like an old lady right now, just with a deep voice. So the whole morning, William's like, "Mama, Grandma," and my Amanda was trying to figure it out. Amanda's my wife. She's like, "No, Grandma Jan's not. We're not videoing her. I don't understand." And then he goes, "Oh, you sound funny like Grandma." So that was just kind of a small moment.
That's awesome.
It doesn't compare to the poop smell.
No, I don't think anything can compare to that. Yeah. So for me, I feel like made me laugh. I feel like I laugh a lot. I have a child who makes me laugh often, but in our kids' church on Sunday, we talked about how Jesus is not what people expect. And so we showed a video clip from The Empire Strikes Back, from when Luke Skywalker meets Yoda. And Yoda is just funny. And his like weird little laugh, which I totally can't do. My husband can do it pretty well. I was up there trying to do the Bible story, and I'm watching the video laughing. And then another one of the leaders was laughing. And I think there was more kids that haven't seen it than have. And so the ones that haven't weren't laughing as hard as we were. So then that made me laugh even more. Cause you like put something in your service sometimes and you're like, oh, it's gonna be so funny. And then you look around and you're like, oh, me and one leader are laughing and all the kids are just looking. Oh, okay. So maybe not as funny as I thought. But yes, that was my chuckling moment for the week. So one more question for you guys. This is gonna make you think too. Would you say you're more thankful for running water or your cell phone? And then why? So are you more thankful for running water or your cell phone, and why?
Water.
Okay.
All day. Why? Because it's my favorite drink. I drink it all the time. It's definitely my number one of the day. And though I'd like to say I can do without my phone, I definitely cannot do without water.
Yeah.
So it's the one thing that I know I can't do. Plus, I love swimming in it. I clean in it. I cook in it.
You swim in your drinking water?
Say what?
You swim in your drinking water?
He just jumps right in.
That's where I'm at. Not intentionally.
That's awesome.
I'm not paying attention. I gulp it up.
Have you ever tasted your bath water? I mean, isn't it great?
It's been a long time.
Oh.
I guess if you get the vanilla scented soap, it goes down like a latte.
No.
I don't know. My kid's strawberry flavored shampoo is pretty good.
My son tries to drink his bath water, and I yell at him and tell him that's yucky. That's not good. We have a cup in there that we use to, rinse his hair. So that, it's a cup. I'm like, no, Brayden, you don't drink that water. All right, what else? Who else? Anybody else have a thought? Running water or your cell phone, and why?
I'd say water, because properly filtered, it makes great coffee.
Yeah. Probably can't make coffee with your cell phone very well.
You and I would get along, my friend.
I say the running water because I do like showers. So they make me happy. I actually don't enjoy drinking water. I've been trying to drink more. It's very challenging for me because I just, unless I'm like running, which I don't do often, or even in a kids' church service, I like water because then I'm like, oh, you just need that. But I like it for the showers. Who else? Running water or your cell phone?
Has to be water. I'll show off, Kenny, my water. Just yeah.
That's
yeah.
nice.
I live without my phone. I don't want to, but I can.
Oh, it's
like
challenging.
I can't live without water.
Yeah. I like it.
All right.
I think the test is, people say, oh, I'm going to put the phone away on vacation or something. They come in like, oh, it was so great not having that thing on.
Yeah.
They kind of.
Yeah. And only someone like
See,
me.
So
Only-
nice not taking a shower.
Only someone like me would say, man, I really loved not having to drink water on vacation. Right? Oh, Ange, what about you? Running water, your cell phone?
I'm gonna be the one that says cell phone. I'm just kidding. No,
You're like, I want to be different.
no. Obviously water. If I didn't have water, I wouldn't be alive.
Yes, you
But-
like water. You like water.
But my phone is a wonderful tool for many things.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for engaging with that question. Let's jump in to some questions about these videos. Again, I mean, all the videos are really good. I was pretty pumped about these ones. So the first one we'll talk about was this, what families really want, part 2. I know that we had part 1 a while back. And so she talks about, Patty Chapman, she talks about every Sunday parents ask these 2 questions just to kind of refresh your memory, or if you weren't able to watch it yet, to get you to know kind of what we're going to talk about. One of the questions that parents ask their kids, can you guys guess? Well, actually, we should have Cole guess because he said he didn't have a chance to watch. Cole, you should guess and tell me if you can figure out these 2 questions. What do you think parents ask their kids, Cole?
Did you have fun? And what
That's
did you
what-
learn?
How did you know? You're a genius. Yes, those are the 2 questions. So did you have fun and what did you learn? And so here's our question, and I'm like excited to hear what you guys do on this, but we're going to talk about one idea. So I want you to think of one idea that you want to use, or even something maybe that you currently do to enhance the fun during pickup and drop-off times. So she talked about that in the video, because those are the 2 times when parents see what you're doing and they can visibly see if the kids are having fun or not. So I want you to think about that. Either one idea that you want to use, or something that you currently do during pickup and drop-off times.
We have a kids cafe, so for us, our drop-off is way more fun than our pickup, because all of the families drop off their kids in our kids cafe. And so it's a center room in between our 2 worship rooms. And in there, they've got a rock wall and Lego tables and game stations. And we've got free popcorn that we give out in between services and after each service. And so that in between service and after service time in that cafe and is really the fun time for kids to fellowship, hang out, have fun, quickly get them connected. The pickup time, the parents form a line really outside the door just because we're kind of locked in our location. So we found the best method for parents to pick up their students is to kind of form a line, walk through their worship room, out the exit door, and if they want to go back into the cafe, they can. But that time when they're pick them up, a lot of times what we'll have is just music videos playing in the background. Lately, because of the Fortnite craze, I got a bunch of Fortnite, like, can you dance videos, and so I had a lot of kids that would just try and mimic the dance moves on the screen. But because that moment can become so chaotic very quickly, a lot of times for our pickup, they're asked to sit down just because the parents are coming in quick. The kids want to leave quicker because they want to get back to the cafe. And so that drop-off time is not probably the most fun, but the drop-off is the most fun. The pickup is not the most fun. So that's kind of where we're at.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? I'm typing out the question in here.
Yeah. I don't have a cool like center room like that, which I would love, to have some sort of like hangout area and stuff. So literally when the kids come into their room, they're in their room. So what I usually have is on the 2 big TVs going, we have like a check-in video, and it might be some sort of a spot the difference or like find whatever, like some crazy video that I found on YouTube that engages them. And then we also have on the stage like several check-in games. So we have like I don't know, just like little like spot it type games, or not, what is it called? Ring it, stuff like that, where it's like 2 kids can sit down together very easily and pick it up a game quickly and start playing. So it's a combination of the check-in video with the games. And then what I changed for checkout time is I have small groups going. So like the question part of small groups is done. So we know that we might have like 5 minutes left over. And so kids are engaged in their small group when parents come. And that's like the game portion of their small group. And so that way they're like having fun with the game, but it's okay if one of them leaves. So as the person in charge of checkout is checking kids out, it's okay if they leave their group one at a time, but they're at least engaged in something that they're having fun with.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, we have, we're the same, Ange. The kids get dropped off in the room that they're in. And so we always have 2 pre-service games. We have like our music videos and fun stuff playing, but I just wrote down the videos to engage because you're gonna have to share with me what some of those are. So there's not every kid always wants to play a game. And so about a bunch of them will sit in the seats and then they're not like really engaged in anything. They're just watching other kids play. But we have like Spot It. We have a game called Happy Salmon and Tensies, or we have like Spike Ball, which is kids love that game. And so every Sunday I bring out 2 of them. And then I have 2 leaders that are running the games. And so they have a mic, trying to get kids involved. Hey, we need, however many more kids. And so we basically pull those out at the beginning and then we pull them out at the end. So there's a game the games at the beginning and the games at the end. And we figure out really quickly the ones the kids like because they're the ones at the end where they're like, oh, can we play that game again? So right now we're doing Christmas themed games. Little side note, we did some marshmallow shooters in our student center, and I wouldn't recommend it if you're not watching it because I had marshmallows squished all into the carpet on Sunday, which was lovely. But yes, they played a game called Santa and His Elves, and they shot at little elves and Santa with marshmallow shooters, and it was good until there wasn't any supervision, and then not so good. Anyway, yeah. So anybody else have something either you're wanting to do or something that you currently do to make those 2 times fun and engaging for the kids?
For right now, because of Christmas practice, our time is very limited, very, very limited. Usually, drop-off time, we're playing a couple games in our gym, usually 2 games, and before we get down to go and do anything else. And then our pickup time is always a mad craze. We have like a prize room, and they get to earn tickets throughout when they show up. Do they know their memory verse? Do they know what the point is? Did they bring a friend, Bible, whatnot, and were they paying attention? So at the end, it's a mad craze as everyone wants to spend their tickets and buy prizes and stuff like that. That's what we do.
That's awesome. I love that. I'm writing that one down. Kids like prizes a lot. Anybody else have any thoughts? Yes, no, maybe so. All right, well, let's go to this next question here. Let's see. It says this. So there's many ways to communicate with parents. This was another thing in the video, just talked about communicating. So what have you guys found to be the most effective for your ministry?
You said communicating with parents?
Yes. Okay. So when it comes to communicating with parents, what have you found to be the most effective for your ministry?
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Of course.
Do you mean specifically as far as like what we're teaching children, or in general as hey, we got an event coming up, we want to let you know?
I would say for both.
Because they're both a little different.
Well, let's talk about first the way we communicate about like events for parents. Okay. So the way we inform them of that. And then after we talk about that, maybe you can share both. So how do you communicate that way? And then how do you communicate with parents about what you're teaching, what the kids are learning in the class?
Couple things we do, and we've tried both, and I would say it's probably hit or miss each season, just because as much as technology is used and social media is used, people still don't check their emails. snail mail gets thrown out. Flyers hit the trash can before they get to their cars. So we still kind of try them all, because then I can get a different crowd of all of them. So if it's events, we're always going to pass out. We'll pass out hundreds and hundreds of them. And yeah, we'll find hundreds of them in the trash, but we'll still get them out. We'll get them to our students. We'll get them to the parents. If it's a real big event, we'll have it announced from the platform, like from Big Church. We'll have our senior pastor mention it. That's probably, for our big events, the best voice we have, is from our senior pastor. Is if he's talking about it or announcing it from the pulpit, then it's going to get the most amount of headway. Another things we do is like Facebook advertising, because the age of the parents that have kids in our kids ministry, they're probably using Facebook, Instagram. So we'll advertise on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll pay for that to just blast for 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks leading up to an event. And that's worked quite well. I mean, we'll kind of circle an area on the map, and we wanted to advertise to anyone between this age range within this circumference of the church, who, if having kids is an option and they put that in their Facebook profile, Facebook will filter all of that and cater to those individuals. And we'll blast it from our main church page. And then, because that's got the most amount of followers, and then our senior pastor, again, he's got probably the biggest number of friends. And so getting him to push that is going to really get us the most attention as far as getting it into the parents' ears and not just the children's. So those are things we've learned that are successful. We still send out a mass email, and we'll use constant contact and all those things. But I mean, the percentage of people that, especially if you want a response, is almost nothing. I mean, it's super small. So that's what we do.
That's good. Anybody else on how you get the word out about events and different things that you're doing in the ministry?
Trying to think if I do anything that no one's thought of, but I don't.
Right.
I mean, it's basically like they were saying, flyers, CCB, Facebook, kids Facebook group, JLC Facebook group, the church Facebook group, sometimes from the adult gathering, through announcements. Sometimes it's me just standing when I'm checking out. Don't forget, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I know, I feel like we don't do anything different. Kenny, I'm with you. We do literally every form of communication you can. And even when you do all of them, there's still people who are like, we didn't know. I'm like, oh, well, you got an email. It was announced in the adult service. It was announced in kids church. We had it on a calendar that we sent out to you every month. I could even give them a phone call and send them a voicemail and they still wouldn't know. So sometimes you're just going to get people that just don't know. But I'm the same. I'll do every form possible, hoping, because everybody communicates differently and receives communication differently. And so that's kind of my mentality. Okay, if I do all of them, then hopefully I've spread a broad enough net that it will catch every person, or at least most of them, minus the couple. And usually it's the same people every time that for whatever reason never know what's going on.
Yep.
So you're like, oh, okay. And yeah. So, okay, what about, and anybody have anything else that you guys have found that was effective? I feel like a lot of us probably do similar. James, you look like maybe you got something.
I've been encouraged a lot to actually just either text or phone call directly to some of the more influential families, kind of bug in their ear. They're the ones who are going to know from all the other ones, but kind of personal outreach, and then kind of a challenge to them to reach other families, in their daily grind. That way you've got sort of a more organic outreach where people are talking about it instead of just hearing it from one source. So
that's cool.
It's a little bit harder to manage control, but it's something I've been encouraged to do more.
I love that.
I can throw out an idea that I'm working on testing.
Let's hear it.
It seems kind of intrusive, but but it's something I'm talking to. We got a developer at our church who develops apps and stuff. So something that I'm trying to do is you can set your phone's got Bluetooth, and most people have Bluetooth on while they're at church. They don't think if they turn it off, it's typically on all the time. And so one thing I'm trying to do is to set up I forgot what it's called. There's a technical term for it, but basically when they enter a certain amount of distance from the church, a notification will pop up on their phone. And so because of Bluetooth, it automatically sends a signal out. It'll happen in certain stores. You'll be in a store, and like Google's really good at it. You'll get a notification from Google. Hey, would you like to leave your review at wherever you're at? And so essentially the contact will be the same thing. As soon as they enter into the building, they would get a notification. The problem that we need to figure out is there's really no way to filter those who are in kids' church and have families and those who are 85.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the problem. So, I mean, if that's something you're interested in, you're a techie guy or a girl, I mean, there's some stuff out there that you can set that will send a notification out, and you can set it to launch at a certain time. And during service times, as soon as they walk into the, 30 feet of wherever your hub's at, a notification will pop up. Oh, I got a notification. Don't forget, join us for blah, 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 blah. So something like that is something I'm looking into. I don't know enough about it yet, but it's out there, and it sounds like it'd be a pretty cool way to get information out right on their phone that they have on them all the time.
So when you figure that out, Kenny, you're going to share it with all of us.
That
would be cool. I like that. That's sweet.
And if you can't, filter the 85-year-olds out, I wonder if just some verbiage in there, like, for families, and if you don't have kids involved, share with a family who does. And so you're kind of putting the emphasis on them to communicate, across the pew, so to speak, when they get that.
Yeah, that's good, James.
I was going to say one thing that I do on Facebook. I don't know if you guys have pages or groups for your kid stuff, but one thing that I found, and I try not to do this all the time because I don't want to annoy people on Facebook, but for certain events that are extremely important, I found that when I tag them, like all the people in the group, I know that they're going to get it, because sometimes when you just make your group post, it can get lost in the feed and people don't necessarily see it. But if they get tagged, they will for sure see it, if they're on Facebook, that is. And usually everybody is at some point. So for me, like for certain things that I really want to make sure that they see it, I will tag like everybody in that class or everybody in, that I know that they need to see it. And so that has helped me a ton, because you can see like who has seen it, and then you'll know.
That's good, Ange. I like that. So what about, I know Kenny, you had brought up, what about how we communicate with our parents about what we're teaching in the classrooms? So either maybe there's something you currently do and you found that's really effective that you can share.
There's something that our preschool teacher does that is very brilliant, and it works really well, because like all of you, I think we've all had, we hand out papers or handouts or something, and it's in the trash, gets onto the bottom of the car, nothing ever happens with it. My preschool teacher, she blows up balloons every day, writing the memory verse on them. And then also you can also put a note towards balloons make it home.
Yeah.
Lose the balloons. So that's a way.
That's genius.
Like helium balloons?
No, just regular blow up the
balloon. You're right. Kids love balloons.
Pretty genius.
Yeah, I'm writing this down. I'm writing it down. That's awesome.
Pretty good.
Yeah. What else? Anyone else have something that they do?
You said for the parents in particular, right?
Yep. So this is letting your parents know. So how we talked about how we communicate at events. This is communicating what you're teaching in the classroom that you found to be effective.
So far,
go for it.
I've posted the take-home page on Facebook and shared it to the church group. So that way it's in two places. on Facebook, and I'm debating if do a weekly email blast, but I hate to overwhelm emails, so right now I'm just starting with kind of a monthly email update with sort of a synopsis of what the series is, and then reminding them to find the take-homes on Facebook. We used to print them off every week, but then we were recycling almost all of them that we were printing. So there's instead of wasting paper, we'll just try to do that and for right now.
That's good.
And then for really important things or special events or things, I'll actually just pin the post. So whenever they go into the page or the group or whatever, it's the first thing they see until the event's done or we're kind of past that. So then I can take it down. So that pinning feature is kind of nice.
That's great. Hey, everyone, say hi to Dustin. And unmute yourself so we can say hi to Dustin.
Hello.
Dustin!
Great to see you.
How are you?
I loved David's video the other day with True True, and he was like talking. My gosh, that
He's
was
very
so cool.
vocal.
Yeah.
Yes, and according to Braden apparently can decipher because
Really?
Mama, he just said he's hungry.
Nice, I like it.
Oh wow.
That's so good. Awesome. Have a good meeting, guys. Thanks.
Yes. Bye, Dustin.
Why am I waving? Like I'm gonna be
You got it, Ange. You got it. Dustin's awesome. All right. Anybody else? Something that you found to be effective in communicating what you're teaching so that
I
parents
do something similar that James does about as far as the take-home thing. So we use TrueFire. I think some of you guys might use TrueFire too. I take the TrueFire Ponder Point, and I do because the whole purpose of the take-home is for them to introduce the following week's lesson. That's which is different. I like it because it puts the introductory to the lesson in the parents' hands. So when they come to church the following week, they already have an idea of kind of what we're talking about, so we can break down the lesson and bring it to life. So what I do is so for like this upcoming week, the Lord will provide. I'll take the Ponder Point, I'll share it on social media, I'll blast it out with hey, this week coming up, we're going to be talking about the Lord will provide. And I'll ask a question for the parents to ask their child, hey, what's something God provided for them this week? Ask them. Just to kind of give them just a simple conversation that they can have with their child to start the conversation before Sunday happens. So then Sunday happens, I will send out the at-home flyer that I also print out and give to them so they get it on the door as well. Something I'm probably going to look into doing is like little 30, 60-second clips of just here's what we talked about today, and what I'll probably do is either something like Remind or Scipio text message service where I can blast that out every week to those parents. Just automatic, set it on a timer. It'll go out at this time on a Sunday where they could pull it up on their phone and say, hey, here's our little 60-second rundown Pastor Kenny talks about today and 3 questions they can ask their kids. So currently it's Facebook. I preset the message. Here's what we're talking about. Then after Sunday, I'll say, here's what we're talking about. So by Tuesday, I'll say, here's what we talked about this past Sunday, and I'll give a little bit more details because now we've reviewed it. And so now, hey, this week we talked about how Mary and how God used Mary to do this. Man, what is one thing this week your child can do? And so then it's more of here's something you can challenge your kid to do this week. So the first one is, what has God done? The second one is, what can you do? And then by Friday, Thursday, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to post out, here's what we're talking about. So that's something I've started doing recently. Can I say it's super effective? Not exactly, because I just started it. But man, I really want to switch the tides as far as parents knowing and understanding the significant importance it is for them to be the primary spiritual influence. And the better I can do to equip them, the more successful that will be. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to shift a little bit. You don't need to know the whole lesson. Here's one question to ask your kid. That's it. And then I'll say, hey, post the response below and try to keep the conversation, because then I can come back and say, man, what a great thing that God provided for them this week. Something like that. So hopefully just to bring encouragement to the parents, encouragement to the kids. No doubt the parents are going, look, Pastor Kenny said so, or Brightmore Kids spoke to you back. So that's something I'm trying to do. And, I'll keep you guys posted on how it goes. But other than the flyers, that wasn't enough for me. So I wanted to do what James did and just add a little twist to it to see if it helps.
That's good.
I do something kind of similar with that. I obviously on Monday, I tend to post a collage of pictures of various things that went on in class. And then I usually say like a little tidbit about what we did. And then I always change my cover picture every week to have like kind of like the big idea, like what is the big idea for the week. And then I'll also on a Wednesday, sometimes maybe Thursdays, post like a conversation starter for the family that has to do with their ending question. Like a lot of times the curriculum at the end, it will be like, I want you to leave today asking yourself this, whatever that ending question is. It's kind of like a conversation starter for the family. So that's all done through Facebook, the group to the parents in the kids group or whatever. But one thing I just started that I'm really excited about is, so I think it's important to engage these families into discussing what they do on Sundays, but I think that there needs to be like, okay, let's kick them in the butt and get them going. So what I did is I've been randomly asking different parents I tell them, like I'll message them and I'll say, okay, our kids learned this week. This was our big idea. This is our power verse. This is what we kind of learned. I want to see you guys as a family in action this week. So the family will at some point in the group post a picture of something that they did together as a family, or they post a video of them in action, kind of living out what they were learning. So, like, for example, one of the last ones was working together kind of a thing. And they took a video of their kids, like, actually picking up toys together. And then they were talking with their kids about, like, why it's so helpful to work together and how we can accomplish more when we're together and blah, blah, blah. And I encourage them to keep it like I don't want you to stress about it. Just keep it about, like, 1 minute. And it doesn't have to be, like, perfect. I want it to be real. But when people aren't just seeing me talking all the time, they're actually seeing families within our church engaging in what they're learning on a Sunday. It makes them be like, well, I need to do that more. I want to be a part of that more. So that's just something I started about a month ago. And so far I'm really liking it.
That's cool. I like that a lot. Taking so many notes. Yeah, I feel like here, this is one area I'm trying to be better in, because when I got here, I came up with, 5 core values, and one of them is partnering with parents and equipping parents to be able to be the ministers to their kids, because, I mean, you guys know they have more time with them than we do. And even though we have some influence in the kids' lives, the parent is the most influential in their life. And what we've done in the past, our events and what we teach is all on one, like, calendar thing right now. And I have my admin revamping that for 2019 so it doesn't look the same. It's been the same for I don't know how many years, because it's been the same since before I was here and when I was here, like, way before that. So I was like, we need a facelift and we need to make it different. And parents probably are just trashing it, or they look at it and then they're like, put it on their counter and it gets lost. If it's like ours, it goes into a drawer that no one ever remembers again. So one thing that I haven't done yet, and I think I shared this before, but I actually have been working on a script for it, and I'm getting ready to do this either today or on Monday. So I'm pretty pumped about it. And Ange, I know you did one of these. You did, like, the parent video, and so my plan is I already have my YouTube page. And so I'm either going to keep that one or just create one that's specific for the kids ministry. And my husband helped me come up with the name today, because I said, man, I really want a good name for it. And I'm going to do a once a month video to start, but my goal would be to have it be like an every week video that goes out to parents, and it goes on our Facebook page and it goes whatever. So our video is going to be called Family Focus, which that was not me, that was David. I was like, oh, I like it. And so my first one, I've been trying to, like, figure it out. What do I want to do? I think I'm actually going to share with our parents about what our vision of our kids ministry is, and then how they play a part in that vision. And then to end, I'm going to share with them one thing that they can do around town as a family. I think, Ange, I got that from you. And so we have something here in Midland. It's actually in Freeland, but it's called the Freeland Light Show. And so it's basically like this little park thing, and they set up all of these lights and they do it to music. And so you can take kids, they can watch it, and it'd be like a cool family thing. And so I'm getting ready to launch that, and I'm pretty pumped about it because I feel like that is going to be super effective. But my goal is going to be to make the video like a 2-minute or less video so that it's never more than that. And I'll have to try really hard. How can I get all the information I want to give them in 2 minutes or less? And I plan to, on some of the weeks, even show like the parents an object lesson that we did in kids' church, so literally do the teaching for them. Hey, this is what we learned. And then tag some questions to that. So I'm pretty pumped about it, but I haven't done it yet.
Lisa, I think that's awesome. I think that your families are going to love it. And when I do the Parent Minute videos, I found that that's why I called it Parent Minute video.
Yeah.
Because I want to like ease their, it's only going to be 1 minute. But whenever I do, I don't know, one thing that really engaged the parents in these videos is I would like whatever we talked about and ended with some sort of a challenge for the family or whatnot, whatever it was, saying like comment below yada yada and you'll be entered in a gift certificate to like you'll get a gift certificate for like $25 to like something fun that they can do as a family, whether it's like go to Celebration Cinema or to this restaurant or to the zoo or whatever it is. They get something that they can do as a family, because the heart obviously is to engage these families to be more intentional. So like, I love that. I think that's cool. And I do think that like you said, the 1 minute time frame is the go-to.
Yeah, well, because if it's too long, no one's going to watch it. I don't even watch full videos. I mean, I watch my Hydrate ones because I know they're going to be like 15 minutes, 16, whatever. But on a Facebook video, if I look and it's over like 5 minutes.
They like glaze over. And I'm
done. Oh, we're done with that. Anything else you guys have? I feel like this is pretty good, just getting it, talking about it. And all right, I'm going to move on. So we've got about 10 minutes. There's one last question here, and I'll throw it out there. It's not really a question, it's a statement, but I'll throw it out there in case you have anything. I know some of you guys kind of shared a little bit, but describe one thing that you do that helps make your message memorable. And my thought is this is going to be for the kids. So we want kids to remember what they learned. So is there anything that you found that has been really helpful making your message memorable for kids?
Always got an answer. I feel awful.
No, don't.
One thing we try, and I know any kids pastor will say like repetition is key to getting across the message. So fortunately with True Fire, it's always at one point. I'll focus on that. Man, that was awesome. I'll focus on that one point so intently that if you guys forget everything else, I'm okay with that. But if a win for me, and this is kind of how I'm teaching some of my other big God storytellers, a win for me is this. Let's say the point is the Lord will provide. That's the word of the day. The Lord will provide. You're going to tell a story about how we're going to bring that to life. We're going to do a bunch of things to help captivate every different type of audience in our kids. But if a parent asks, what did you learn today? And they can say, the Lord will provide. And the follow-up question is, how does he provide? And they can genuinely answer that question, then we have won. That for me is a win with a kid. They're growing. They've taken that message and they've personalized it. Mm-hmm. How does the Lord provide for me? So yes, the Lord will provide. That's a great thing to know. But like, I get it. He provides for mom and dad, but how does the Lord provide for me when I'm 7? Well, how does the Lord provide? Let's talk about that. And so creating those type of questions and answers and allowing, and really that's our small group time. So you talk about small group, Angela, that's huge for us. We are real big on small groups. And that is a time we're going to take that point and we're going to break it down to the personal. We've already brought in the biblical context. We've delivered a story. We've brought it to life. What does this mean for you? And so that's kind of been our big takeaway. man, how does the Lord provide for you today? How did he provide for you this morning? On your way to church, how did the Lord provide for you? Just taking that point and bringing it down so personally that regardless of what they learned that day, they can at least remember that right there. The Lord provides. So that's something we try to do, and just over and over again. Start of the day, man, today we're talking about the Lord will provide. Man, I don't know about you, but God has provided a great week for me. And just anytime I can get in there, our connect question, our small group time, even during worship, I might even find a verse that correlates to that's not in the message at all, that just recapitulates, man, this moment. Listen, let me tell you about how, man, back in the old times, they had to go into a tent and it was super strict. Man, the Lord provided a place that we can come together and worship freely without persecution. And again, they don't know that I'm setting that up, but it is super intentional in the way I'm going to word that entire day so that they leave with that one point. The Lord will provide.
That's good. Anybody else?
We seem to have been having a lot of success with really emphasizing the story. I mean, kids, they live their lives within context of story, and so by taking whatever content we're doing and adding actually where we can to try to help that story come to life, whether it's added background or have the kids take roles and parts, and it's great when the curriculum maps it out for you, but it's worth it even if it doesn't to try to think differently about trying to get them involved. Or a couple of weeks ago, they were learning O Come, O Come, Emmanuel for our Christmas thing. And I asked them, do you guys know what this means? Like, no, it's a cool song. So basically just, all right, we're gonna have Emmanuel story time. And I had all the kids come up and sit on the floor around me like it was an actual story time. And I was very excited. I'd just written a paper on Messiah in the Old Testament. So I could kind of take them through from Genesis forward, like why Israel was longing for this person, Messiah, and how Jesus fulfilled that. But in a way that really felt like a story time where they were both mentally and emotionally engaged to the story. Another thing we do is try to give as much opportunity for their response. You do get the rabbit trails, but because, and this kind of goes with Kenny's point, as much as they can ask, how does that apply to me? By fostering that discussion, you're starting to get them to think at higher learning levels and really processing the information beyond just a rote learning. So trying to engage that. Plus, it helps you kind of get to know what's going on if you have to follow up or different things that kids don't always communicate regularly. So, and then it can spark your imagination for a different application or kind of on the spot. Things that are unique and different, just to kind of help reinforce things that way. So we kind of do that, and then try to think about the different learning styles. And so there are all kinds of different theories on it, but essentially, visual, audio, oral. So some kids just have to talk it through to really learn it. Kinesthetic, even just the fact that, for those kinesthetic learners, if you just allow them to kind of move or fidget, they're going to pick up things more than if you try to make them sit still. So we're a little bit flexible in some of those things, just to try to engage as many different learning styles as we can within the structure. Those are a couple things.
That's good, James. Anyone else? I feel like I wrote so many things. I like it. Yeah. Well, it's 10:57. You guys always, like I said, I feel like I'm always writing pages and pages of stuff where I'm like, yes, this is so good. It sounds like from what was being shared, I know as I was going through those videos, especially for kids, making things memorable, keeping with one topic. Like I know that in the True Fire, Kenny, you said it's called the ponder point or whatever. We call ours the big idea. But having that be your main main thing. And then everything you do in the service wraps around this one idea. I can't imagine, I think, doing a service where there's multiple ideas going on. Not that you don't pull out other things, but really when you keep that your one focus, it's way easier to teach too. You know, I'm like, I don't even know how we would fit more than one like ponder point or big idea into one service. We only have like X amount of time. And yes, doing repetition definitely helps kids remember, but even doing it in different ways. And one thing that actually Pastor Kelly told me, and so I have this that I'm starting to do on my board, is when he puts together a lesson, or when he was the kids pastor, he said he would always put the 5 senses up, and he would try to touch on as many of the 5 senses in one service as he possibly could. And he said, if you can gauge all 5 senses, like kids will never forget. And he told me that the 2 hardest that are, you probably can guess, the 2 most difficult to engage are taste and smell, because you got to be a little creative with those. But, you know, he was talking, so if you're teaching about, you know, Jonah and the whale, maybe you bring some sardines in the classroom and you have them open around in random spots so it smells fishy. I know we did this last year when we talked about the manger, and it was actually not my idea. It was this guy, Josh, who's on staff with me, his idea. He went and got a giant bucket of manure because we wanted the kids to be able to smell what it may have smelled like to be in the manger, like in that stable. And so he had to come up. Did what?
Did they taste it too?
They did not taste it. I told him, I was like, yeah, we're not going to do the taste one on that. But he was like, oh, we could get them to smell this. And so he had all the kids come up and had them smell it. And those are the more difficult ones to do, but it is true. Like I'm not going to forget that because it smelled really bad, you know? So just engaging them in that. So I just thought that was, I'm like, we do really, really good, obviously, with like the sound and with the sight, because those are the easiest things to do. But when we do even the touch, the taste, the smell, how can we get that in there? And then I love it. I think small groups are super important, just like you guys were saying, because then the kids can also share personally. So that gives them time to share their own things, and they just made it personal to them, which means that they're not going to forget. So yeah, thanks so much for sharing. It is 11 o'clock. We are amazing. So we're going to pray, and then we'll look at when we can meet for January. Okay? So here we go. Let's pray. God, I just thank you so much for these amazing, amazing leaders. And Lord, I just thank you that our desire is not only to just honor and glorify you with our lives, but to see kids honor and glorify you with theirs. God, I just thank you that you have entrusted us with such precious kids, Lord. God, that we can speak into their life, pour into their life, and Lord, that we're also helping parents to raise their kids, to minister to their kids. And so, Lord, I just pray that as we are having this be our focus today, that we would think about ways that we can engage with the parents, Lord, ways that we can allow them to come into the classrooms and see that their kids are having fun and enjoying learning about who God is. And Lord, I pray that even though I'm sure parents could make a lot of excuses of why they maybe don't have time to do activities with their kids at home, I pray that you would allow us to really paint the picture of the importance of them being the one to minister to the kids and to talk to the kids about who you are. That is so crucial. And so I just thank you. I thank you that you're giving us fresh ideas. I thank you that you're helping us to sharpen and tweak the things that we already do. Lord, I pray just a blessing over each of these leaders. Lord, I pray that their Christmas would be just an enjoyable time with their families as they're getting to celebrate the birth of your son. And so we just love you, God. We thank you for who you are. We give you glory and honor, and we pray this all in your name. Amen. All right, so let's look at the calendar, and then we're done. That way we can go and do our awesome stuff for today. So the beginning of January, we're going to keep it on a Thursday, and at a 10 a.m., I'm thinking we can either do the 3rd or the 10th. I don't know if the 3rd's too close to New Year's Day, but for me, New Year's Day is only one day, and I still have to work on the 3rd. So, but which would you guys prefer? Do you want to do it right away on the 3rd, or do you want to wait until a week into January and do the 10th? Any thoughts?
I'm good either.
Okay.
Same for me. Either one works.
Either one?
I prefer the 3rd. So we've got a week of prayer and fasting, the week of the 10th. So wake up calls.
All right. Well, let's do that. Let's do January 3rd at 10 a.m. Yay. All right. Well, then I will see you guys in January. Thanks for being awesome.
Thanks.
See you later.
Take care, everyone.
Yes.